As a science fantasy writer, here are three really big questions I have about the universe that inspire my writing and my work. The first one being, how much of reality is socially constructed versus how much of it is physically constructed? When you look at figures like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, often their contributions to the tech industry isn't so much the actual science or the engineering that contributed. More so, it's the fact that they pushed their teams to not accept the constraints that were believed to be constraints at the time. Other aspects of science that we believe to be the physical conditions or the physical constraints, but are really just more limitations of our human belief. Part of the reason why in school I studied psychology versus maybe a harder science like physics, because even though I do have an interest in both, I do think it's a lot more interesting to think about like how humans put limitations on things. This directly leads me to my second question. If math is an abstract concept and it can more accurately describe the universe than, say, our own like senses can, does that mean that the abstract is actually a more accurate representation of the universe versus our lived experience? I only bring this up because, of course, in many different situations we find that the math doesn't necessarily agree with what we believe the experience to be, which leads me to my number one question about the universe. What is time? Mathematically, time can be expressed in so many different ways, but our lived experience of time seems to never agree with how time is represented mathematically. Now, maybe I'm overthinking it, but time is so fundamental to the human experience, but when we really start to think about it, like other questions arise, like why can we only travel in one direction in time? And then we get interpretations like Einstein's block universe, where time is all coexisting all at once and it's an illusion. Even though our lived human experience makes time feel like super real, I would love to engage with conversation about any of these questions. Again, this is all sorts of stuff that inspire my work. Salutogenesis, the power system, is all about like defying the limitations of human belief. Yeah, go check it out.